Okay, hello.
Hello.
Everybody, this is Emma Pink. Thank you so much for joining us on our not so up close but personal interview series with new authors.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes, I'm really, really glad. I actually caught Emma last minute, so it really speaks to the kind of woman that she happens to be able to come on things like this so last minute and look so nice. That's a
Thank
thing.
you.
I appreciate that. So, Emma, I didn't even give you any prep, and everybody that comes on the show ends up finding out that I don't ever give any prep, very, very on purpose, because I want to just find out the rawness of you and see the realness about who you are and what your book is about and why people would want to be drawn to you and your work.
Of course,
So,
yes.
so yes, I know everyone's always like, wait, what? What are you going to ask me? So let me start off with a few questions. Let me just show everyone your book. It's going to be a really good day. This book is a personal favorite of mine. It's incredibly brilliant. A lot of our team is like super in love with the front cover. Emma actually painted this herself. So it's just a really good book. Could you kind of give us the snapshot of what the book is about?
Okay, yeah, sure. So it's pretty much about me living with bipolar disorder, but it's not all just about mental illness. It's about a girl, trying to be the best she can be and growing up and making mistakes and learning from those mistakes to be even better. So.
Mm-hmm. So did you find it like overwhelming or scary? Like, I mean, I think people are going to ask you this all the time as you start to interview more. And so for me, as the person who got to sort of look at the rawest form of it, I'm wondering, what was it like to share that? Was it scary? Was it exciting? Was it exhilarating? Was it?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of weird. I'm not I'm a very open person, so sharing my story isn't something new for me. I think I wanted to share it in a way though that connect, and that was the scary part. I think for me was making sure that I was going to be able to connect to people in a way that they've never been connected, and like make it really real and, like you said, raw, and to really feel it in a way that they haven't been felt before. So I was quite nervous that I was doing an okay job. So I wanted to make sure that I was writing in the way I wrote and the way I explained and the way, I drew everyone in was the right way. So that was what I was nervous about.
And for those of you who are watching, one of the things that's particularly amazing about Emma's book is that there's this, it's like a weird level of connection. Like you're actually sitting with someone and there's this real life, like, no, this really happened. Not like this happened to a friend of mine. That's always the thing that comes up with mental health and mental wellness. And so that's the thing I found amazing about your book, because in all the things that I've ever read about a person that lives with mental health, it's always like the mental health comes first. But in this book, it's like you're a real human, and I really, really appreciated that. It actually opened up my eyes to so many things and so many ways of people around me that I need to make sure of how I'm being honest with myself. So one of the things, guys, that Emma's book is really cool and offers sort of exercises at the end of every chapter. So let me just give you guys an example, because this one might be my favorite. So it says, witnessing your emotions. Name your emotion. Draw a picture of that emotion. Having a visual of your emotions will help you to react the right way. For example, happiness is a flower for me. So if I want to feel happy, I go lay in a field full of wildflowers or buy myself some daisies. Then Emma equals happy. So, I mean, like, I hope you guys can see this clearly. It's a really cool book. There's other little cool things that I don't even want to tell them about. They have to go find the book because it's just really cool. It's very layered. So do you consider yourself, like, I mean, every human is very layered. All of us have different layers. But where would you say, like, would you say you got to the core of all of your layers, or are there still more that you're uncovering to reveal to everyone else?
Oh, so much more. So much more. This book, and I didn't want to, especially with my first book, I didn't want to overwhelm, and I find that a lot of times with one book we put so much in, and I want the book just kind of scratched the surface to get people questioning, to get people, to reach out and we get a conversation going, to let this book lead to somewhere else.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, I don't explain my total story. I don't go into totally depth into each and every part. And I wanted that because I want people to reach out and I want to connect, face to face.
Yeah.
And so it's just the surface. I mean, I learn and I become a different person every day. I go through things every day that change. And, so, I mean, this book is it's meant there for, if you're down, just a little pick me up, or you need inspiration, or, a quick little read that just, gives you what you need. So it's just the surface.
Yeah, because my personal opinion, I mean, everyone knows that I read lots and lots of books, and one of the things that I found about your book is that it's that thing that you want beside your bed. You just sort of okay, let me just pick this up because it's funny. There's swearing. I love swearing in books. It's also there was a point in time, guys, when Emma had written something in short form that I was I don't know what this means. Am I old? And so, but that stuff, it's this is 2017, and so there's this relatability to how you've used the English language that I am so appreciative of. I think that I think it was super clever, and lots of LOLs and lots of smiley faces and things that make our reading much more simple these days. And I am in love with that concept. So so the next, so you talk a lot about your family in the book. Yeah. And so give us a breakdown. What is that like to talk about your family? Have they read the book? Are they interested in reading the book? Give us the gritty stuff.
Well, family, especially with mental health, they're the burden, right? Everything that I go through, they go through, and everything that I need help with, I go to them, and they get tired over 8 years of me, messing up and going through tough times. And this book wasn't meant to sit there and point fingers at them. I actually sat down before this book and I was like, okay, so what is it what bothers me about my family? And I pointed the finger at me and I said, okay, well, maybe it comes from me. So when I wrote this book and I talk about my family, I talk about my love for my family and my appreciation, and I talk about, what they've been through because of what I've been through. And a lot of the time with mental health is that the person that is struggling brings their loved ones with them. And a lot of the times we have to see that, and we have to reach out to them and give them a hand too, because they're struggling as well. And this book, I think my family's a little scared to read it because they think that, I sit there and, cut them up or say bad things about them, but it's really not. It's me reaching out to them and saying, I love you. Thank you for doing everything that you've done. I can't express how I feel, grateful I am for everything. And so, family's huge because if I didn't have my family, I would not be here today. So,
Yeah, I think that's one of the largest pieces whenever people write a book, especially that, because now people are writing things more about themselves, so less in story form, more personal narratives. And so I'm always curious to find out how family really fits into that mold. Yeah. So thank you for answering that. I think to myself, because as you guys can see, Emma's a very reflective woman, and so what ends up happening whenever I speak with Emma is that I have certain truths that come up for me, okay, how am I supporting it, and how has my family supported me through anything that I've been going through. I think the other thing that you made very clear in your book is that mental health isn't this weird box that people like to put crazy in. And it's super relatable because I've not been diagnosed with bipolar, but I certainly have bouts of depression and bouts of times where, I really think that this seems like life. Yeah. This is just real life.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah.
Well, I think times I talk about it in my book. We put limits on things, and unfortunately mental illness is a limit. And when we get diagnosed, we limit ourselves. We think we're not going to be successful. We think we're going to be crazy the rest of our lives. We think manic and depression is going to be what we're just going to face. We're never going to feel happy. And I talk about it in my book, saying that I was scared to feel happy, that I didn't know what happiness was because I was constantly being oh my gosh, I'm manic. So what we do is when we're diagnosed is we're diagnosed and this is who we are. We don't realize that it's a bigger picture, and to look outside that box and to see that like we're so much more than what our, you know, mental illness is. And that's just a part of us. And if we can embrace it and stand tall against our own stigma, not just society stigma, but our own stigma, then we're flying, you know? That's it.
So yeah. I gotta soak that one in, because it's really real. It's like, you know, I continuously make confines for myself that the second I step outside of them, everything is totally different. And like everyone else's opinions are actually irrelevant. It's mine. I'll be like, oh no, I did this or whatever have you. So one of the other things that I completely loved about your book is the very spiritual side of things. We're super used to mental health being combined with, you know, treatment and the usage of pharmaceuticals, which I have no problem with. But you took a really interesting stance that wasn't completely against pharmaceuticals, but also the spiritual end of things. So could you talk to that for us a bit?
So what I find was when I was diagnosed and they were putting me on pills, I didn't want that. And I didn't want it because I'm the kind of person that says, if you take this pill, you'll get better, and I'll believe it. And as soon as I'm off the pill, then I think I'm not good. I think it's going to be, you know, a mess. Yeah, exactly. And so when I talk spiritual, I mean, it's just looking within yourself and knowing that like change can happen within you and you can have control. And sometimes the medication, like I needed it obviously for the first like how many years, so I could figure out what bipolar meant, what it was, who I was, figure out, get grounded and everything. And
so was it like a leveling, like you felt level?
Yeah. So, medication, leveled me out. It for sure put me in a fog, which I didn't really like. It makes you like feel things. It does make you feel things. It makes you, you know, just there. And I wanted so much more, and I knew there was so much more. And so when I started to really look in and control, you know, my urges with manic and my depression, and really just try to positive affirmations like throughout depression. And medication, you know, is good, especially at the beginning. Like you need it to help you and get you through what you need to get through. But it's also part, like, you're a human and you got to look within and it'll help you. So
I think that this is part of what makes you so deep and a spiritual being, is that like you don't have to have these giant explanations. It's very simple. Like looking inside of ourselves now, like as a person who, like, people, you know, I've always grew up with people like, oh yeah, kumbaya, like I'm that lady. So I think that the process of looking within is this really weird, like, how does that look? What does that mean? Like, what is your process of looking within?
Yes. What's my process? Well, I mean, even like yesterday I had kind of an off day, and I ask questions. I'm a question person. I've always been a question person. How I talk to people, I question. Like, that's how I get to know people. So I was like, why not do that to myself? So, like, having like a feeling, I'm just like, okay, so why am I feeling this way? Why am I angry? Why, like, even with manic, like, why am I going manic? So what is it? Like, what am I feeling? What am I seeing? What am I smelling? Like, getting back to the grounding, like, just asking questions to try to, like, really look within. Because I ask questions to you, and I ask questions to my mom and my dad and my friends to get to know them. So why not do the same for me? Yeah.
So give us an example. Like, if someone's watching right now and they're thinking, oh my goodness, like, I really need to figure out how to level out. I need to ask myself some questions. What are some questions that they could ask themselves?
Well, the question is why. Why is always a good question, but like something like, so what am I feeling right now? And it could be, okay, so I'm angry. Okay, so why am I angry? And like just kind of sit with that and not just react right away. So it could be, why am I angry? Because my friend didn't text me back. Okay, well that's not obviously the real answer, but just go through the answers that come up and just
I'm just going to catch you there because that's interesting. So you said, because my friend didn't text me back, and then you said, but that's obviously not the real answer. And so I just want to dig a little deeper and see what you mean there. What does that mean?
I find that, you know, we're deep. Everyone's on a different, like, I don't really know how to explain my thought process, but okay, so to me that's superficial. So your friend didn't text you back is obviously not a good reason to get angry. Your reason could be you feel that your friend doesn't like you, which comes from your own self-esteem. You can feel that, your friend didn't text you back and you think you did something wrong. Again, you feel your own self-esteem. So again, coming back within, and it's everything that you see and everything that you do comes from what you see and your illusions and your perception on reality. So if you can look at a situation and really, really dig deep and
peel back the layers. Yeah.
Peel back the layers. Because if you go down to the bottom, it's usually, your fears and your illusions and what you believe in. And it's you, like it comes down to you. So that's what I mean by just sitting with the question and letting it just be there until you really, really dig deep. And it could take a couple days. It could take a week. I mean, it doesn't come instant. It comes with time. So.
Okay. So, thank you. Thank you for that. Tell us, so now I have one more question before I get to those administrative questions that I want to know, like next book and things like that. But I want to know, when you hear the term crazy, is it something that now you can sort of laugh about? Is it something that you are reclaiming? Is it something that is offensive? What goes on when Emma Pink hears the term crazy?
I just laugh. When people say it, they don't know, right? And that's the thing when you ask me a question about my book and writing it and being so open, and the thing is that people assume and people judge because it's easier to judge than to think, and I say that. And when people say crazy, you just got to shrug it off. That's their own perception, and that's what they believe. They don't know what you've been through. They don't know what's going on inside you. They don't know anything. And the more confident you become with yourself, and the more that you realize that whatever, sticking stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt, that kind of thing. It's true, because crazy, okay, go ahead, call me crazy. But what is the definition of crazy, right? It could be anything.
Not crazy as hell. I think I've already established that.
Exactly. And, I always say, I agree. I'm a little crazy, but I'm fun crazy. People are always oh my God, you're outgoing and crazy. And that's who I am. So it's just one of those things that it's so old fashioned now that it just, I laugh and I shake it off. I'm so confident.
So you reclaim the word, it's your word now. You can use it and it's not got it.
Yeah.
No, I
and when I use it, I want to use it with people, and I want them to feel that, the laughter in it and the joke within it. And when I look back at some of the things I've done when I'm manic, I'm like, oh man, I was crazy. That is crazy. But it makes me laugh, right? So it makes my story a little bit lighter for me. When I look back, I'm not heavy-hearted about it. I'm not
carrying guilt and
so I can with that person who calls me crazy, I'm gonna laugh with them because 100% they're right, but 100% it doesn't affect me.
Yeah, and they're probably crazy too. I think everybody is.
I mean, we all are.
And actually I think that's what makes life so very interesting, in the times that we can sort of step back and relax a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us, next book, when is it coming out? Do you have an estimated time? Are you working on it now? What's it about? I'm curious.
Okay, so my next book, I'm just starting writing it now. I'm going to aim for next summer. That's my next goal.
Awesome.
So it's kind of, I haven't gotten a title for it, kind of the feel for it, but what I'm doing is taking books like A New Earth, Awakening to Life, philosophy, I'm taking science, I'm taking everything, different angles, and I'm putting it towards mental health. So I'm looking at mental health from a scientific point. I'm looking at mental health from a philosophy point. I'm looking at mental health from a spiritual point, and I'm bringing them all together, and I'm taking my favorite books that I have read that I'm like, okay, I can use this for my mental health. And so, it's going to be something like that.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm looking very forward to it.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Emma, tell us where we can find your book.
You can find it, you can always email me. Get it on the Discovery Publishing site.
DiscoveringDiversityPublishing.com. You guys can see the link below.
Yeah.
Let me show that book one more time because the cover's so pretty.
Yay.
And tell everybody your email address one more time, please.
It's e.janepink@gmail.com.
Perfect. Emma, it has been an absolute honor to speak with you. Thank you so much for getting ready so quickly. I really, really appreciate you.
Yes, my running in the rain here.
Thank you, and we'll speak again soon, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. See you later.
Okay, bye.